Hello friends, it's a Belgian Bonanza here on Football Therapy today, and welcome back with me to Football Therapy, with me, your host Jan. I'm laughing, but it's difficult at the moment with the turbulent stuff that's going on in the world. My heart goes out to everyone involved in the conflict, just east of Europe, so this isn't a political YouTube channel, so I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to talk about football, Chelsea Football Club. Welcome on in, get comfortable, there's big news to talk about today, or certainly big headlines to reflect on. Romelu Lukaku wanting to leave Chelsea and willing to take a wage cut. Eden Hazard, the loan deal to Chelsea, how it would work and how there'd be no option to buy or obligation to buy, if we are to believe said reports. We'll reflect on those as well. And Max Kilman, the Wolves defender slash boyhood Chelsea fan, could he be the answer for Chelsea to sign in the summer alongside Jules Koundé? Settle in, get comfortable, please do drop a like, because it means a lot and it's just a simple click of a button, takes a millisecond, and you're all welcome to subscribe. Of course. So where should we start? We could start with Eden Hazard, maybe go to Max Kilman or Lukaku. We'll start with Hazard though, shall we? I'm going to read some details here off teamtalk.com and then we can look into this a little bit more. Chelsea are in discussions to bring back Eden Hazard back to the club in a sensational loan deal in the summer, claims reports. Listen to this. The 31-year-old attacker was the darling of Chelsea fans. True. Before he left Real Madrid in 2019, he won the Premier League twice, Europa League twice, and the FA Cup during his time at Stamford Bridge. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he also won the League Cup under Mourinho. 2015? Am I right? I think so. So he's won a lot. Before he departed to Spain in a fee which could top £150 million with add-ons. Sterling, pounds, 150. When you talk about Marina Granovskaya, you have to recognise this incredible negotiating power. The money she got for a player with 12 months left on his deal. You think about the insane money we got for both Alvaro Morata and Diego Costa, even though we didn't want either of them. This moneymaker is incredible. That sounds weird. This chief director and negotiator is incredible. Let's read on. However, his time in the Spanish capital has been far from smooth, and he still has 2.5 years left on his deal at Los Blancos. True, quote, leaving Chelsea is the biggest decision, toughest decision in my career to date, wrote Hazard at the time. And now, according to the Spanish football journalist Ramon Alvarez of Radio Marca, a return could be in the offing. Per the source, the two clubs are in talks over a loan deal for Hazard. Of course, any deal would have to wait till the summer with the winter transfer window closed, but Chelsea are keen to take the Belgian forward back on a season-long loan. Negotiations are already underway to push for a temporary deal in the summer with no option to make it permanent. Hazard would return to Real Madrid in July 2023 with the 12 months remaining on his contract. Now, that's great. If there's no loan fee, if they subsidise some of the wages, because remember, Hazard's on £380,000 per week, which I believe is more than what Romelu Lukaku's earning at Chelsea, who of course is Chelsea's top earner. I would absolutely be all for this. I know it's you guys are split in terms of opinion on this. But if there's no loan fee, if there's no transfer fee, if we're not paying the full of his wages, if there's no obligation to buy, it's just a 12-month loan. Absolutely. We've already absolutely skinned Real Madrid for loads of money for Eden Hazard. And this would be a case of just them relinquishing the number 7 shirt to give it to Kylian Mbappe and also not having to pay his wages for a player they just don't play. We'd play him, and I think he'd do better at Chelsea than he's doing at Real Madrid. I'm not going to go on about it, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, because we've discussed this at length. But there's positive elements of that report suggesting that, that we wouldn't have to, basically it just sounds better for us than it does for them. And that makes me feel like, yes, I was already kind of on the Hazard train, but I'm driving the MFer to not swear on this channel. Okay, before we talk about Max Kilman and we look at his stats together, I think that would be quite fun. Let's quote Football Italia, this news publication, football-italia.net, citing Gazzetta dello Sport, talking about the Romelu Lukaku situation. Okay, let's take a deep breath all together. We all feeling good? We feeling sturdy? Let's get into this. Romelu Lukaku is unhappy at Chelsea, and according to La Gazzetta dello Sport, he's ready to take a pay cut to return to Inter, his beloved Inter. Off the bat, in terms of context, we know it's not going well, but he has looked like he's celebrating with his teammates, Romelu Lukaku. Thomas Tuchel has also been like, he's part of the solution, you know. He started him 10 games in a row. Granted, he's not scoring and stuff, but he did start him 10 games in a row. It took him out of the firing line after those 7 touches. I don't think there's, like, obvious animosity here, but at the same time, like, you can kind of understand why he'd be unhappy. The Belgian striker returned to Stamford Bridge in a €113 million deal in the summer, but has only scored 10 goals so far with Chelsea, and he's been left on the bench for their Champions League clash against Lille. But we know that why. Context. The 7 touches, yeah. Thomas Tuchel has admitted that he doesn't know how to involve Lukaku more in his tactics, and the striker is unhappy in London, where he has not settled. I reckon that's largely down to the interview. Back in December, Lukaku apologised to the Inter fans for the way he had left in the summer, saying that he'd like to return sooner rather than later. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Lukaku dreams of returning to Inter and is ready to take a pay cut to wear the Nerazzurri shirt again. He is in contact with some of Inter's directors and is aware that his return would be a hefty operation for the club's finances. Excuse me. Therefore, he'd be ready to take a pay cut to play for Inter again. At the moment, Lukaku's return is not in the club's plans. Sassuolo's Gianluca Scamacca, if that's how you say it, excuse my pronunciation there, is their priority target for the summer, but perhaps the club's stance would change in time. They would need big P's to bring him back. Because even if he's going to take a pay cut to play for them again, I think he's on what's he on at Chelsea? 320k a week. He goes back there, maybe gets paid 200k a week. And then, he's happy again in his work. Fair play to him. If you're willing to take fair play to Lukaku. I mean, not fair play to Lukaku because he's done a lot wrong. But in this isolated incident, man is 28. He signed a 5-year deal on ridiculous money, and he's willing to sacrifice millions upon millions upon millions to be happy in the game he plays. Which you got to respect that. But Lukaku started like a man on fire against Arsenal. He looked like, and everyone was saying, oh my God, this guy's going to rip up the Premier League with Chelsea. This is what they've needed. He's the one. Oh God, here we go. And he got injured, went out the team, came back in the team, scored in consecutive games. It was the interview that screwed him up. And it really did screw him up. It was beyond me why he did it. We're not going to go over old ground. It was idiotic. How a man speaks friggin' 8 languages, is meant to be really intelligent, has a degree in PR, did the most dumbest thing I've ever seen. Or at least one of. And yeah, of course it screwed him up. I think if he could go back in time, he wouldn't do it. Because bearing in mind, guys, the Inter fans, they don't want him back. They left a big sign outside the San Siro saying it's not about those who run in the rain, it's about those who stay in the storm, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. That's not something like that, the Inter fan said. I mean, maybe if they take him back, I mean, Dzeko started well, but he's not been amazing, and he is mid-30s, he's 35 years old. If they get a 28-year-old Lukaku back, the nutritionists, the health people, they knew how to get him in good shape over there. Maybe, the biggest thing is here, fair enough, Lukaku, you take a pay cut so they could pay you. How are they going to cough up the money? What is Chelsea going to accept? A year, they'll make a loss on him regardless, but then Chelsea try and make profits on players, not losses, and they hate looking bad. Marina Granovskaya, the aforementioned Marina Granovskaya in this video, who does amazing negotiations in terms of good financial value for Chelsea, she's not going to be like, oh, okay, I have him back 50 million. No, maybe we'd say, all right, 90 million. So we make a 7.5 million pound loss, you know, and say, yeah, it hasn't really worked out. You know, basically give us our money back minus a little bit. You know, that's not, we're not going to be like, okay, yeah, 50 million is yours. It's not going to happen. So this is really weird. Well, it's not, I don't know what to say, like, you know, it is weird, but it's very, very frustrating. Anyway, let's move on. I haven't really spoken about this, though it's been spoken about quite a lot. Max Kilman, of course, is a young centre-back, English centre-back who plays for Wolves, who have been absolutely immaculate this season in terms of their defence. They don't concede goals. Obviously, he's at the heart of that defence. People are talking about him getting called up for England, etc., etc., etc. He is 24 years old, so yet to enter his prime as a centre-back. He's a boyhood Chelsea fan, and let's just take a quick look at his scouting report here on FB Ref. As you can see there, all his deets up there. He's a boyhood Chelsea fan, and clearly this is his scouting report. Nothing really jumps out at you there. In fact, let's just do this percentile. Click, and let's see what he is good at. This is a bit of a cheat code to have a little, a boost. So he's really good at successful dribbles that lead to a shot. So dribbling out of the back. He's really good at tackling dribblers. So it comes to he's really good at dribbling himself and stopping dribblers. So he's all about ball carrying, which, you know, is interesting. I mean, clearly it works in the Premier League. What else? What else does he like? It dribbles completed, shots that lead to another goal-scoring shot. So he does try and get involved, but none of these are really high. He's not in like the 98th percentile for anything. And, you know, if you look at like statistics or like, I don't know, man, like tackles in the defensive third is pretty high. But without boring you, I had a bit of a look at all this before I started recording, and I was trying to figure out what this man is good at. I mean, he's young, he's in a defence that keep clean sheets, he's a Chelsea fan, do we care about that anymore? Does that even matter? Like, Luke Shaw's a Chelsea fan playing at United. I don't really know if that kind of stuff matters, it just feeds into the narrative. I mean, Lukaku, supposed Chelsea, like, lifelong Chelsea fan, or since he was mid-teens. Does it mean anything? Apparently not. When it's your work and it's your career, it all goes out the window. What do you think about Max Kilman? The thing is, I reported yesterday, as Piliqueta, Christensen could be out the door, Koundé and Max Kilman in, and that's considering as well that Thiago Silva is going to be pushing 40, so we can use him less. So you'd be looking at who would your most reliable starting three be? Trevor Chalobah, Rudiger if he re-signs, and Koundé. And then I guess you've got Thiago Silva and maybe a Max Kilman in rotation. We talked about Colwell. Is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? That kind of stuff. We'll have to see what happens there. He had been linked heavily over the last few days. It's probably the kind of player that Chelsea could, you know, afford. I'm just going to quickly look at his when his contract runs out, because that will give us further context of how much he will cost. But he's a top half Premier League defender, 24 years old. He's English. I think he's Ukrainian as well, which is sadly topical at the moment. Okay, so his contract runs out in 2026, so he would cost a lot of money. He's got like 4 years left on his deal. He must have just signed a new one, which would indicate he would cost a lot of money. But anyway, I want to put it out to you guys. What do you think about Max Kilman? Would you like him as a Chelsea signing? Is there good value there? Talk to me about Eden Hazard. Talk to me about Romelu Lukaku. Comment down below. Please do drop a like, and I appreciate all of you that share and interact on my videos. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Daily videos, of course. Enjoy the football. I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me bitch.